Alright, it's time for the final video of NRA Gun Club, and this last game mode is called Practical Shooting, which I don't know why it's called that. If anyone wants to tell me why it's called that, that would be good. We basically go through a course and shoot a bunch of targets and get scored on it. There doesn't appear to be any kind of time limit, and it's a lot easier than most of the other game modes. You have unlimited shots too. So you just, shoot the red targets and don't shoot the white ones, and that's it. It's not hard in the slightest. The targets don't move. As long as you can distinguish between white and red, it's already in the bag. So this game as a whole is very weird. It's incredibly inoffensive. There's nothing terrible about the game design. There's nothing terrible about the presentation. There's nothing terrible about it in general, but at the same time, it's remarkably uninteresting. I personally found it interesting simply because it's so uninteresting, if that makes any sense. If it doesn't, I don't care. Makes sense to me. But, this particular course, this practical shooting course, as it's called, reminds me a lot of the fall festival we have near where I live. We have a small little festival in our town in October, midway through October, because it's fall, and we have a little marketplace set up and some carnival rides. It's a fun time, and this little hut where you shoot at targets reminds me of that festival. I don't know why, because as far as I know, there's no gallery shooting of any kind at the festival. It's just the general atmosphere of this place reminds me of that for some reason. I say there's no gallery shooting, but that's not true. There's gallery shooting in the sense that there are some carnival games where you man a squirt gun and aim for a little target and stuff like that, or you throw darts. But throwing darts terrifies me, so I try not to play those ones because I'm terrified of throwing darts. Like, what if I hit someone and they fucking lose an eye? Then what, I'm not great at aiming things. I like to go because it's nice to just walk around and look at the stands and everything, and look at the weird bootleg stuff that's definitely not legal to sell, but nobody's going to get in trouble because this is a country town and the cops are never around, and even if they were, they wouldn't give a shit. There's always this one guy that sells like bootleg action figures, like bootleg Power Rangers and shit. And I always love those bootleg Power Rangers toys because they always have some weird tagline. Like last year at the festival, the tagline on the bootleg Power Rangers was "Flashing Enter." What does that even mean? What does flashing enter mean? The toys don't flash. What does the enter mean? There's no flashing involved. What is flashing enter? Had a good laugh. I had a good 5-minute laugh at that. The fuck is flashing enter? I wanted to buy them just because of that, but they were $10 fucking. Like, Jesus, no. I guess that's all I really do at the festival is look at the market, look at the homemade crafts, and look at the bootleg Power Rangers and other action figures. Lots of bootleg Yu-Gi-Oh cards also. But yeah, there's homemade crafts and bootleg Yu-Gi-Oh cards and action figures. And there are carnival rides. And there are carnival games, and that's about it. I don't do the carnival rides, I don't play the carnival games. So I just walk around, I guess. There used to be a video game stand, and it's there some years and some years it isn't. I don't always buy shit from the video game stand, but I like to go look at it. I just like to look at stuff, because sometimes they have some weird shit that you wouldn't expect any game retailers to still be stocking. Like, there's some old MMO WRPG that doesn't even work anymore because it's been disconnected, but they're still selling it. What was it called? I know I have the name somewhere in my brain. Overworld, EverQuest. I think it was EverQuest. EverQuest Online for the PS2. And they even have a sticker on it that says it doesn't work anymore because the online is down. I didn't know anything about that game, but apparently it ran for 9 years, from 2003 to 2012. That's a long-ass time for a PS2 MMO. I'm sure there's some guy out there trying to revive it, as there always is with these MMOs from people's childhoods. But I don't know if it's going to go anywhere because it was a PS2 game, so it seems like hardware issues would be a real concern, and general coding and compatibility. I try not to get into MMOs because I don't want them to just disappear one day when I'm not done with them yet. And MMOs have a lot of fucking content. Like, recently I've been looking at Star Wars The Old Republic, and the story seems really interesting, and I want to experience it, but at the same time, who knows how long that's going to be up. Yeah, EA sunk a whole bunch of money into it, but that doesn't mean a damn thing. EA treats their online-only games like trash. EA is the absolute goddamn worst at video game preservation. So I don't want to get into something that they, that they made that's digital only. I don't want to get into that. I'm sure BioWare worked really hard on the story and game mechanics and everything, and I'm sure it's worth playing, based on what I've seen. But I don't want to get into something that's just going to disappear right from under me. It's why I mostly stick with single-player games that I know aren't going anywhere. Like NRA Gun Club. Nobody cares about NRA Gun Club. Nobody's going to take away NRA Gun Club. I guess that's a reason I shy away from some modern games in general, is because a lot of modern games just disappear one day, sometimes less than a year after their release. So I only buy games that are available physically and make sure that the games I buy physically work if the online goes down. Like, could you imagine playing Max Anarchy and the single-player campaign is no longer available simply because the online servers are down? That reminds me, recently, I learned that there was an attempt to reboot Astro Boy as a collectible card game on Steam. Like, very recently, like a couple days ago. It was called Astro Boy Edge of Time. And I really like collectible card games, trading card games, whatever. So I wanted to play it. But then I fucking learned it got shut down. And I had to dig to find out why it got shut down, and I still didn't get a clear answer. It was just shut down. Slightly over a year after it was released, it was shut down. And they didn't just get rid of the multiplayer, the single-player story mode is gone too. If you boot up the game, nothing happens. I think I said back there I only buy games that are available physically. That's not true. I meant to say I like to buy games that are available physically. That's much preferable. But I do have to buy some games that are available online only, because as the name implies, they are available online only, and I still want them. But anyway, Astro Boy Edge of Time came and went with practically no fanfare. Like, there was no advertising that I could see when it came out. If you look at the videos on YouTube, they have very few views, somewhere between 500 and 3,000. It's just kind of sad. If they put more effort into marketing it, then maybe the game would have been a success. And from what I did see, it looks like a lot of love, creativity, and care was put into this game that died just barely a year after it came out. And that's super fucking depressing. Which is why I'm doing my best to preserve games. Even this one. Which we are almost done with now, the ride is almost over. So thank you for joining me on my Let's Play of NRA Gun Club. A completely innocuous, boring shooter that has almost nothing to offer, but it tries a bit harder than other gallery shooters to be something meaningful. Next, I will Let's Play another game that very few people have heard about and very few people care about, because that's what I do here. And I maybe sometimes play games that were really, really popular when they came out. You know, like Prince of Persia 2008, because I love that game. You know, I'm not immune to popular games just because I play mostly weird things. I felt like nobody had done Prince of Persia 2008 justice before, so I wanted to. It's one of my favorite Let's Plays so far. Anyway, that's it. We're done with NRA Gun Club. I hope you enjoyed the ride.